Hey everyone, my name is Adi. Today we will talk about how to draw with pencil, the materials that you need, and some tips. Even though pencil is often the first material beginners try, pencil is one of the hardest materials to use. So I hope you will find this tutorial useful. When drawing lines, instead of trying to draw the whole thing in one try, it's better to draw it using short lines. That way you have more control and it's easier to change directions. I'm actually moving my entire arm, not just my hand. You can keep correcting the shape until you are happy with the result, and then you can erase the extra lines. Take your time when creating the plan, because it's better to find your mistakes in this stage when it's easier to erase than to find out that the proportions are wrong after you added details and shadow. Drawing pencils come in different levels of softness and hardness of the graphite inside them. They are marked with letters and numbers. HB is in the middle. B pencils are softer and create darker lines, bold lines. H pencils are harder and create lighter lines. The number beside the letter tells how soft or how hard the pencil is. The higher the number beside the B, the softer the pencil is. The higher the number beside H, the harder the pencil is. You can see in this chart the differences between some of the pencils. You can achieve different levels of darkness and lightness depending on how much pressure you apply on the pencil. As a practice, try to achieve a range of hues with the same pencil. One thing you want to avoid doing is to use too much pressure. It can scratch the paper and hurt your hand. So if you feel like you use force to draw darker, it's better to stop and to switch to a softer pencil. You don't have to buy all the pencils, but you better have one hard pencil for creating plans, and for not so dark areas, and different B pencils so you can have a range of darkness levels. The difference between dark areas and light areas is essential to convey light and shadow and depth. Keep the white of the paper in the areas that are white or in a very light color. If you have hard time determining how light or dark something is, you can close your eyes but not completely. By keeping a narrow gap, it will become easier for the eyes to tell the difference in darkness values. When drawing the shadows, it's better to start with a harder pencil and gradually to switch to softer pencils to build up the shadows over time. In order to fill an area, there are different techniques that you can use. One issue can be how to cover an area without creating seams. You can see that in this example, every time I raise my pencil and move on to the next section, it creates seams. The technique that I'm showing you now is the one that I use the most often. I move my pencil in small elliptic shapes. Because the movement is repetitive, it creates a seamless coverage. Hold your pencil in about 90 degrees to the paper. This technique requires patience, so don't try to rush it. But the result is very suitable for drawing realistically. You can go over what you drew with a softer pencil and easily achieve a smooth transition. The traditional way to learn art is to only draw with a pencil at the beginning. When adding to that effect that pencil is something you can find in every home, that explains why so many beginners use pencil instead of other materials. The softer the bee that you use, it can become harder or even impossible to erase it completely. This is one of the reasons why I think it's better to start with a lower number of bee when creating shadows. This technique was often used by the masters, hatching and cross-hatching. In this technique you draw lines beside each other. You can change the length of the lines and the distances between them. To make it darker, draw the lines more densely, and to the same area add lines that go in a different direction. Let's talk about materials. The recommended paper for drawing is 180 grams. Thinner paper is less durable. You will also need eraser. Use ones that erase well. The eraser on the edge of pencils is usually bad. Kneaded eraser or putty rubber is good to pick up the graphite, can be shaped by hand for precise erasing. Eraser pencil is good to erase very accurately. You can create white fine lines with it. You can actually draw over your paper with pencil and use eraser to draw by removing the graphite. You create the light areas instead of the dark areas. Pencil sharpener. Don't forget to sharpen your pencils. Over time, sharpeners get ruined, so when you see that it doesn't sharpen well, switch to a new one. In order to avoid getting your drawing smeared, lean your hand on a paper. It's also good to start adding the shadows from the top left corner if you are right-handed, or from the top right corner if you are left-handed. You can also rotate your paper. You can also draw with mechanical pencil, clunch pencil. They come in different types that marked by numbers like 0.5. The difference is the thickness of the lead they use. You can buy leads in different softness levels marked by the same letters we talked about. If you feel like you must smudge, you can use blending stamps. Because they carry the materials on them, you don't want to use the same one for smudging different materials, different colors. It may be better to use one for harder pencils and one for softer pencils too. Another option is to use tissue paper or towel paper. There are oils on our fingers, so it's better not to use your own finger to smudge, because it will get the oils on your drawing. You can also use a brush that is dry to smudge. With all these alternatives, there is no reason why to use your finger for smudging instead of something else. If you choose to use smudging, then don't overdo it. It can easily become dull. I encourage you to try the two previous techniques that we talked about in this video. Aside from the materials we talked about in this video, I also recommend to have a mirror for the next tutorials. The next videos will be about how to draw portraits. the proportions of the face and how to draw faces in different angles, and how to draw eyes, nose and lips. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already, so that you will not miss anything. Thank you so much for watching. See you soon. Bye bye.